it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Tom Batts. Tom is a Wyoming native and one of our own. He received his BS in civil engineering in 1977 and was a member of the Tau Beta Pi Honor Society. Last year, Tom was named as the UW alumni, a well-deserved honor indeed. Tom's professional career has been rich and productive, and he has served across the globe. He is now the retired Executive Vice President, Global Manufacturing for Royal Dutch Shell. Retirement for professionals like Tom means the flexibility, having the flexibility to follow their other passions, things they have put on hold. So he now serves in many advisory boards and many corporate boards as well. In 2012, Tom was asked by Governor Meade to serve on the Energy, Engineering, and STEM Integration Task Force, which is affectionately called WIGIZA. I had a hard time with it early on. Tom, along with other members of the task force, have devoted considerable energy in helping us develop credible plans and secure sufficient funding to become a Tier 1 College of Engineering and Applied Science. In August 2013, the Governor asked Tom Batts and Greg Hill, another one of our stellar alums, to co-chair the task force. Their charge was to help us develop an implementation plan where all the details are outlined, the deliverables are stated, the outcomes are codified in black and white, and budgets are more or less analyzed and prepared. Their charge was to help us get to our vision for excellence. In my assessment, Tom's wisdom, level-headed leadership, and dedication to the cause are among the critical factors in our successful planning effort. Thanks to Tom and many others champions of the college, including President Dustin sitting right there, we now have a 6-year strategic plan. We do have the required resources to move us to the realms of excellence in all elements of our mission, in instruction, in research and scholarship, and economic development. Thank you, Tom, for all your effort and your all your valuable contributions. You are great, and it has been a pleasure working with you. Tom Batts, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Khaled. I'll give you my $5 after the deal. Faculty, honored guests, friends and family, and most importantly, graduating students. It's a real honor and privilege for me to be able to join you today and help you celebrate this wonderful occasion. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for the state of Wyoming, for the University of Wyoming, and the College of Engineering and Applied Science, as well as the School of Energy Resources. And the reason is because I feel my roots are here. And a lot about who I am came from here. So when I was thinking about the pearls of wisdom that I was going to drop on you guys today, I asked my 3 kids, who are all grown now, what stood out for them in all the commencement speeches that they had heard. And honestly, none of them could remember anything they had heard. But they said, and they all said, "Dad, just keep it short." So apparently the bar is relatively low for this exercise. I can't screw this up too much. As long as I keep it short, and I'll do it. So, well, it's been 37 years since I sat where you sit. In some respects, it seems like last week when I was living on the 4th floor of McIntyre, spending way too much time at the bar, and trying to figure out how to make my slide rule work. Yes, I am that old. After I graduated, I started working for a major international energy company. And, honestly, I was initially scared to death because I wouldn't have what it takes to compete with the MIT and the Stanford and the Texas graduates. My first ride on an airplane was to my interview trip with Shell after I graduated. I was an introverted engineer, fresh from the sticks. Oh, by the way, have you heard how you can tell if an engineer is an extrovert? He looks at your shoes when he's talking to you, not his own. So I felt like that guy. But I quickly learned that the foundation that I received at UW set me up very well for what was to come. And I bet it's done the same for you. I've got good personal evidence that a UW degree in engineering or computer science or atmospheric science or energy resources is a strong foundation. A few years ago when I was working for Shell, Shell's global upstream business was organized in 5 regions. I was blessed to be able to lead the European region as executive vice president. And remember, Shell's one of the largest companies in the world. The astonishing fact was that 3 of the 5 global regions in Shell were led by people who went to UW. So when our boss, who was a Brit in London and an executive director of Shell, found this out, he found out that Greg Hill, Ann Pickard, and I were all from Wyoming. He came to me one day and asked, where the hell is Wyoming? And what's in the water there? Well, I think I know what's in the water here. And luckily, you've all been drinking it. Now, I know most commencement speakers will talk about lofty ideas like reach for the stars, or follow your passion, or dream big, or take chances. And those are all true, and those are all important ideas. But I want to talk to you about how to be and how to show up that leads to success. I obviously don't have all the answers, but I think there were 4 things that Greg, Ann, and I had in common. Sort of how we showed up that made a little difference. And all of these things were reinforced here at the University of Wyoming. I believe these things are common to all successful leaders. And the other cool thing about what I'm ready to tell you about these 4 hows is that they're exactly what your mother is trying to tell you is important since you were little. So now Mom will have every right to say, I told you so.
That's right.
So my 4 themes are pretty simple. How to show up is about work ethic, it's about integrity, it's about curiosity, and it's about humility. The first how to show up is to demonstrate a good work ethic and do what needs to be done. I know that's not sexy, but you'd be surprised how many people show up after graduating and draw immediate boundaries on the kinds of work or tasks that are beneath them. Now maybe it's my background growing up on the ranch. But no job was too small if it needed to be done, whether it was my job description or not. And I deeply appreciated and spent a lot of time with the folks on the front line, doing the tough work where the value was created. That's often the best way to learn about the value chain of wherever you're going to work and understand kind of where that value is created. People notice who's willing to get their hands dirty and who does what needs to be done, and who can connect the dots. Those are the people that everybody wants on their teams. The second how to show up is to demonstrate integrity. Now I know, a lot of people when they hear integrity, they think, well, I don't lie, and I don't cheat, and I don't steal, so I must have integrity. And of course, integrity means a lot more than that. It means there's absolutely no gap between what you say you're going to do and what you do. In other words, there's no say-do gap. It means you always honor your word, Sometimes it's impossible to keep your word because things change. Circumstances out of your control sometimes change. But you can always honor your word, which means if you can't deliver something you committed to, you come clean, you recontract, and then you take the consequences. It means doing the right thing even when nobody's watching. You know, I always remember that people really don't care what you have to say, but they care what you do, even in the small things. The third how to show up is always demonstrate curiosity. You've got to constantly challenge your mental models about how things work and why things are the way they are. That constant curiosity will help you learn from everyone you talk to, even with those that you don't agree with. Curiosity helps expand your networks, especially with people who stretch and challenge your thinking. One thing that I experienced later in my career is demonstrating curiosity gets a lot harder. Because as the more experienced and the more senior you get in your career, you stop asking questions and you do more pontificating because you know what's best and you don't want to look vulnerable. But the reality is, once you know and once you start knowing everything, you stop asking questions and stop being curious, you're done learning, and then you're toast. The fourth how to show up is to demonstrate humility. This is about stepping up and taking responsibility, learning from mistakes and giving credit to others. I always like the old saying, take all the responsibility and none of the credit. And you might think that's not a very good way to get ahead in this dog-eat-dog world, but people who are humble and accepting credit and hard work and work hard to help others succeed stand out and are readily recognized as the real contributors. If you're tooting your own horn, I can assure you that nobody's listening to you. I also believe helping others succeed goes well beyond the workplace. Find ways to help and be in service of others through the local community or charities or church, wherever your passion is. It's important to be part of something bigger than you are, than yourself, and give back. So that's it. Those are my pearls of wisdom. To a large extent, work ethic, integrity, curiosity, and humility are core values that you need to find in the organizations that you work in. If you find yourself in a place that doesn't value those things, I suggest you get the hell out of there and find a place that does. And if you find yourself working with individuals that don't value work ethic, integrity, curiosity, and humility, you need to get away from them, because over time they will infect you. So, in closing, since your mother has already tried to give you these pearls of wisdom, I want you to do one thing for me. Make sure you thank her tomorrow on Mother's Day. And you all might be just exactly like my kids and have forgotten everything I've just said. But I really don't worry about that now, because if your mother is here today, I'll bet she's going to be. Thank you, and have a wonderful next stage in your career.